Hello guys, in today's video, we're gonna check out the best Nikon lenses in this year. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I've tried to list them based on their price, quality, durability, and many more. To find out more information about these Nikon lenses, you can check out the description below. If you want to get a best quality Nikon lenses according to your needs, then watch the video till the end, and then decide to buy. At the first position of our list, we have Nikon 50mm f/1.8 DAF. This humble nifty 50 is at the top of my list for good reason. The Nikon 50mm f/1.8D is the first Nikon lens for an FX camera I ever bought, and as such has a special place in my heart. Not only is it the cheapest chips, the cheapest Nikon lens, in fact, it's also super lightweight and compact too. Check out all the raving reviews on Amazon for this lens. It's the sharpest lens I own, sharper than lenses 15th the price in fact, and its focus speed is also the fastest. On a Nikon DX camera, the focal length will be approximately 75mm, meaning the Nikon 50mm f/1.8D becomes a flattering portrait lens. Whilst it's not the top lens for portraits, it can still trade punches with the big boys. If you have a Nikon DX camera and are considering a prime lens, get the Nikon 50mm f/1.8D and don't even think twice. For under $140, you'll have a super sharp, super fast, lightweight, dependable lens which you'll be able to use on your FX camera if you ever decide to upgrade. If you're on a tight budget, it's one of the best lenses for Nikon at this price point. Moving on to the next at number 2 with Nikon 35mm f/1.8 GED. This is another lens that I absolutely love, and is in fact the most recent Nikon lens that I've bought. I wanted something that I could pair with my Nikon D750 for traveling. But the more I used it, the more it became the most used lens I own. I've shot many professional photo sessions with the Nikon 35mm f/1.8 GED, and can't recommend it highly enough to the Nikon FX DSLR owner who'll listen. The whole Nikon f/1.8G lens range, 28, 50 and 85mm provides incredible value for money when you consider the image quality. If you're looking to invest in some affordable or backup wedding photography gear, these impressive lenses are perfect. The 35mm focal length is a favorite for all kinds of photographers due to its versatility, wide enough to tell a story, but equally adept for a portrait. It's up there with the 50mm in terms of popularity, but when choosing 35mm vs 50mm, the former is a lot more versatile. The number 3 position is held by Tamron 10-24mm f/3.5 4.5. Every kit needs a wide-angle zoom lens, especially if you love shooting landscapes or architecture. When I'm traveling, my wide angle is often the lens I use the most. Back in the day, when I was shooting on a Nikon D40, I found that I preferred the first generation Tamron 10-24mm to its Sigma equivalent. Now, in its third generation, the Tamron 10-24mm f/3.5 4.5 really outperforms everything else in its price range. The biggest change: it's the first DX wide-angle lens to bring image stabilization to Nikon users. You gain a whopping 4 stops when shooting handheld. That's really handy if you're on the go or find yourself in a situation where you can't use a tripod. Another big change that sets the Tamron 10-24mm f/3.5 4.5 apart from other lenses in this price range is its weather sealing and fluorine-coated front element. This means that you're that much more protected when shooting in the elements, near waterfalls, or shooting over long periods of time. Time lapses. The Tamron 10-24mm f/3.5 4.5 is compatible with FX or DX Nikon camera bodies. On a DX, 10-24mm is the 35mm equivalent of 1536mm APS-C terms, and allows you to capture more of a scene in a single frame than something like the 1855mm Nikon kit lens. It makes the scene so much more expansive. Next at number 4, we have Nikon 10-20mm f/4.5 5.6. If the Tamron 10-24mm is too expensive for you, or you're looking for a lighter wide angle for your DX camera, the Nikon 10-20mm f/4.5 5.6 is an amazing deal. It didn't really get much attention when it first came out in 2017, but it's a sweet little lens. It's one of only 3 Nikon DX lenses with the new AEF-P technology, a pulsing/stepping focusing motor. Costs next to nothing. and pumps out decent images. The AFP focus is fast, accurate, and silent. The impressive continuous autofocus performance is more like that of a mirrorless camera. But where you'll really see the difference is when using live view. It's much quicker than AFS lenses. The design of the Nikon 10-20mm/4.5/5.6 is super light and compact. In fact, it's so light it hardly feels like you've got a lens on your camera at all. That's a big difference to the aforementioned Tamron 10-20mm, which is a bit of a beast. I also prefer the ergonomics of this little Nikon more than the Tamron. For an entry-level wide-angle DX lens, you really can't go wrong with this little guy, even though there are a few downsides, as you might expect at this affordable price point. The number 5 position is held by Nikon 24mm f/1.8 GED. On several other sites that release their lens roundups, it's the Nikon 24mm f/1.4 G that often appears under the title of the #1 wide-angle lens for Nikon. However, I think it's this f/1.8 version that should hold that title. Here's why. It's a sad truth for those who are brand loyal, but the Sigma 24mm f/1.4 ART is widely considered as better than the Nikon 24mm f/1.4 G, not to mention being much cheaper. Read this review of the Sigma 24mm f/1.4 ART. Another reason is that, unless you absolutely need an f/1.4 for low-light photography, the Nikon 24mm f/1.8 G is good enough. Don't be concerned about the depth of field differences of f/1.4 vs f/1.8. With wide-angle lenses, you have to be up really close to the subject to take advantage of any slight variance in subject separation between f/1.4 and f/1.8. Now we've got that out the way, here's why I think the Nikon 24mm f/1.8 G is a great wide-angle lens for Nikon FX cameras. The number 6 position is dominated by Nikon 35mm f/1.8 G DX. Here's another very nostalgic Nikon lens for me, it being the first lens I ever bought. Way back in 2007 when I first got my hands on a Nikon D40, I skipped the kit lens and invested in a Nikon 35mm f/1.8 G DX, and it quite literally changed my life, even though I bought the cheapest Nikon DSLR at the time. By pairing it with one of the best Nikon DX lenses, I was producing images similar to a much more expensive camera. I remember doing a 35-day photo-a-day project using just this one lens, posting it to Facebook, amassing a small following, then charging for my photography a few months later. I honestly don't believe I would have got into professional photography had it not been for this one lens. It opened my eyes to the advantages of a fixed focal length and what is possible when you invest in your lenses. So back to the Nikon 35mm f/1.8 G DX. Let's look at why many believe it's the top Nikon DX lens for 35mm shooters. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Nikon 24-70mm f/2.8 GED. We're moving away from the Nikon Prime lenses now, and taking a bit of a jump up in price too. But stick with me, as we're now talking about one of the top Nikon FX lenses ever made. The Nikon 24-70mm f/2.8 GED was the first FX zoom lens I ever bought. Paired with my Nikon D700, I could confidently shoot absolutely any paid job with it, and never need another lens. From architectural photography to events, weddings, portraits, and everything in between, the Nikon 24-70mm f/2.8 GED is an incredibly versatile lens. There's no hiding from the fact that this Nikon FX zoom is pricey. But if you consider that it could be the only lens you ever need, it could work out to the same cost as buying several other lenses. It's also cheaper, lighter, and smaller than the newer Nikon 24-70mm VR model, which may be sharper and feature vibration reduction, but for the price increase, I don't believe it's worth it. The number 8 position is held by Nikon 18-300mm f/3.5 6.3 ED VR. Remember when I said I'd tell you about the top Nikon DX lenses for zoom shooters? Well, this one's at the top of the pack. The Nikon 18-300 f/3.5 6.3 ED VR may not be the optically best lens out there, but for what it exhibits in distortion, it makes up for in versatility and value for money. If you own a DX format camera and want one lens to cover a ridiculously wide focal range, this is it. The Nikon 18-300 f/3.5 6.3 ED VR can replace the combination of an 18-55mm the most common bundled lens, and the 55-300 lens. Envy. There's a more expensive, heavier, and older version with a very similar name, which makes lens purchases rather confusing. Click here to see them both side by side so you don't buy the wrong one. Make sure you opt for the cheaper of the two. In this roundup, I've tried to select only those lenses that I deem the top all-rounders. I'm not including long-range zooms, 70-200 etc., since they're not useful for the majority of people. However, to be able to go from 18 all the way up to 300 is incredibly useful. If you've never shot as wide as 18, it's quite an eye-opener. You should expect a fair amount of distortion, but it's easily correctable in post using Lightroom or Photoshop. 18 gives an immersive 76-degree field of view, which is great for landscape photography. Next at number 9, we have Nikon 85mm/1.4G. We're back onto prime lenses again, ones with fixed focal lengths, and this Nikon 85mm/1.4G is one of Nikon's top lenses for portraits, if not the absolute number one. I was tempted to recommend the cheaper alternative to this lens, see below. But those who want the fastest f/1.4 lens with the most impressive image quality and sublime bokeh simply must choose this f/1.4 version. I've owned the Nikon 85mm f/1.4G for several years now for my wedding photography work. Whilst I only use it for about 30% of the day, ceremony, and H's, I'm always so thankful I have it in my camera bag. The build quality, as you'd expect at this price point, is excellent. An additional plus is that there's no fiddly manual focus switch. You can just grab the focus ring and twist it to override the camera's autofocus. The Nikon 85mm f/1.4G is impressively sharp at f/1.4 and gets even sharper up to f/4. When it's too sunny outside to shoot this lens wide open, I stop down and am blown away by the results. It's just so sharp, and the color rendition and contrast are simply incomparable. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by Nikon 85mm f/1.8G. No, it's not a mistake. I'm recommending two different Nikon 85mm prime lenses in the same post. The Nikon 85mm f/1.8G is simply too good value for money to leave out. If you've read this roundup in order, you'll notice that above I've just been gushing about how good the big brother of this lens, the f/1.4 version, is, and how it's the most impressive Nikon portrait lens. So why would I write about something so similar? Well, to be absolutely honest, the only similarity between the f/1.8 and f/1.4 variants of the Nikon 85mm prime lenses is the focal length. They're entirely different lenses, and I feel that both of them deserve their place here. The Nikon 85mm f/1.8G is absolutely incredible value for money. At around $480, you simply can't get a better Nikon portrait lens. You'll know if you're a pro who needs to spend 3 times the price for the f/1.4 version, but the vast majority of photographers won't. The Nikon 85mm f/1.8G is excellent value for money, and as long as you have enough space behind you, or the subject is far enough away, 85mm is a great focal length for a wide range of subjects. That's all for today. We upload camera and camera accessories review videos every single day, so don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for the upcoming video notification.